Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Crypt. And a puzzle from a new setter today. I know that because they said it's the first time they've sent us a puzzle. And Murdoch, what's wrong with my voice? Murdoch was at great pains to show that he'd followed the guidelines on submitting puzzles. So that's got to be worth some reward. There are quite a few rules here, and we encourage setters to keep the number of rules to a minimum if they want to get featured. But I think we've seen a lot of these rules before. One of them gives me some fear. We'll get to this in a moment. Don't worry. I'll explain the rules in full. Now, first of all, on Patreon, we've got the marvelous Extra Byte Sudoku pack. I say Sudoku, they're 5x5 puzzles. One or two have non-Sudoku elements, in fact, but they are absolutely brilliant. They are Latin squares, largely. Not all of them, but most of them. And they're great fun to solve. 68 puzzles because they're smaller than usual. And some people have been getting through the pack in 3 or 4 hours, which is very impressive, frankly. When you see my solution videos, which were my first testing of the puzzles, you'll see that they run to over 5 hours in total. Anyway, that is on Patreon, along with Simon's solves of difficult listener crosswords and other crosswords by me, and connections videos as well. So do join us on Patreon. There's a lot of good stuff there. There's also, of course, many things going on our apps, which do feature line Sudoku and domino Sudoku, relevant to today, but also Fog of War Sudoku and the worms. Worms are kind of long strings of Sudoku puzzles where some of the digits from each puzzle move on into the next puzzle, and Phistomefel and Michael Lefkowitz have given us their takes on the worms, and very entertaining they are too. Do check those out. There's also SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD linked under the grid, but there's also this puzzle, Within and Without by Murdoch, and I'm going to explain the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Now, we've got some between lines. So these are the thin grey lines that join circles. Digits on a thin grey line must be between the digits in the circles on the ends of that line. So imagine we had a 3 here and a 7 here. These digits would have to be between 3 and 7. That's between lines. Then the thick blue lines are lockout lines, and digits on those must not be between the digits in their diamonds. So again, if we had 3 and 7, these would have to not be between 3 and 7. They couldn't be 3 or 7 or 4 or 5 or 6. They would have to be from 1, 2, 8, 9. There has to be a difference between the two diamonds on a line of at least 4. So 3 and 7 fulfill that just. Now, there are black crop key. There's one black crop key dot, and the digits on that have a ratio of 1 to 2, so one is double the other. There are white crop key dots, and the two digits on a white dot are consecutive, difference of 1 between them. And there is, importantly, in the bit that terrifies me, a disjoint group subset. So cells with the same position in the boxes contain the numbers from 1 to 9. So you don't have any repeats in the same position. So these are all in position 1 within their box. And that must be a set of the digits 1 to 9, no repeats. And the same would be true for position 8 within the box. For instance, that's going to be a set of 1 to 9. Now, that is quite a hard rule to scan for, which is why I find it very difficult to operate. I mean, it's not as if I find lockout lines easy to cope with, but give the puzzle a try, give Murdoch a go, and give him some praise if you like the puzzle when you've finished in the comments. Let's get cracking. Okay, I don't have a clue how to begin. That's a sequence of consecutive digits. You'd think this is quite a long between line, but that could be 2 digits repeating twice each, so it doesn't actually have any further impact than the others. There are no long lines, therefore, here, apart from that. Every line in this puzzle looks like it's 2 digits long. That's rather difficult, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look at these. Oh, the disjoint subset means all of these circles and diamonds are a set of the digits 1 to 9. That's completely obvious now, a full minute after I began solving. Completely obvious, and is clearly the structure of the puzzle. What on earth does that mean? What is a difficult number to put in a diamond or a circle? Because they must all appear there. Is there a difficult number? 5 is difficult in a lockout line diamond sometimes, because it can only sit next to, on the diamond, a 1 or a 9, because they're the digits that are 4 away. Are all of these digits contacted by lockout lines? No, that's interesting. Well, since the lockout line, the thick blue line is a loop in this puzzle, so it clearly runs through every cell, every box center, and connects to 2 others. So wherever the 5 is on that loop, it's preceded by the 9 and followed by the 1, or the other way around. Okay. Now, I have learned this. I mean, within the last month, I did a puzzle that had a Dutch whisper line that was all 9 cells within a box connected together. Dutch whispers are orange lines. They also have the rule, well, they have the rule that neighboring digits have to have a difference of at least 4. And what I learned, well, I didn't learn it then, I've learned it before, but what I used then and taught you, if you were watching that video, was that there is only one sequence of digits from 1 to 9, using each one once, that you can make these differences of 4 apply. So let's start with the 5, which is bounded by a 1 and a 9. Then let's remember the digit 6. No, the digit 4 can only touch 9 and 8 on the line, so it must come between 9 and 8. The digit 1, I'm doing this whole line as a loop, so the 1 connects to that cell, and I'm going to remember that the digit 6 can only connect to 1 or 2. And then we put in 7 and 3. This is the string, 159483726. Now, that must go around these in order. And the interesting thing here is that the center circles are also connected by grey lines in exactly the same order. Even from there to there, we've got the grey line. So this is the order of the between line circles as well. And therefore, between the 1 and the 5, the only digits available are 2, 3, and 4. Between the 5 and the 9, the only digits available are 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, that's really interesting. So, obviously this sequence could start anywhere, and it is reversible. I say obviously, I mean, that is just the case. Okay, maybe there is a constraint here. So I'm looking at 159. If they sat in these cells, I can do these white dots with a 2-3 pair and a 7-8 pair, and there are alternatives. If these were 5-9-4, I don't think I can do the white dots, because the white dots would all have to be from the digits 6, 7, and 8. So that's interesting. This can't be a 9 on that basis. Right, I'm going to put all the digits in this and then rule them out one by one if I can. So it can't be a 9. So if this group went 9, 4, 8, further down the sequence, everything on the lines, everything on the dots would have to be from 5, 6 and 7 to be in between those. That's too many. That doesn't work. That's not a 4. If they went 4, 8, 3, the digits we'd be allowed to put on the dots are only from 5, 6, 7. That doesn't work. If they were from 8, 3, 7, we've got 4, 5, 6. That doesn't work. If they were from 3, 7, 2, we've got 4, 5, 6 again. Strange, but that doesn't work. If they were from 7, 2, 6, we've only got 3, 4, 5. That doesn't work. If they were from 2, 6, 1, then we've only got 3, 4, 5. That doesn't work. And if that's incredible, this was the right place to start looking at those 3. I don't know how my instinct led me there. If it was 6, 1, 5, we'd only be allowed to put 2, 3, and 4 on the whites, and that doesn't work. So this is a 5. Okay, I'm going to transfer my aide-memoire sequence down here because I feel it's going to be quite useful, but it's now getting in the way up here. So 5 is surrounded by 1 and 9 there. It does not help me fill these white dots. I mean, one of them will have a 3 on and one of them will have a 7 on. It does mean that these cells are even at the end, weirdly. But that doesn't really help on a black dot. All you know about a black dot is at least one of them is even. Now, so coming down here, well, the black dot is going to be the disambiguator between the 2 solutions that would exist if the black dot wasn't here. There might be more than 2. But if there was no black dot in this puzzle, there would be at least 2 solutions, because you could take whatever the final grid was, subtract every digit from 10, and you'd have an alternative solution. There is nothing else within between lines, lockout lines, and white dots to prevent that being the case. But there is something with black dots. So this is the disambiguator. So maybe I do need to work on that. Now, what is locked out then from, well, again, these digits are from 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, just as these are. We can't have any repeats. That's not that helpful. I might have to go placeholders on this puzzle and then be prepared to change it for this. So if I was using placeholders, what I'd be doing is perhaps choosing to make this one a 1 and that one a 9. And then aware that at some point, if I get a lot of the puzzle filled in, this black dot might turn out to be wrong and not work. And in that case, I'd have to reverse and select the other digit and subtract every digit in the puzzle from 10. Obviously, it doesn't affect the 5, but it affects all the others. And this would become a 9, which is more likely, the 1 there is more likely to be a problem for the black dot. Maybe let's try it with a 1 here, because I know that that is more likely to cause a problem for the black dot, and see what happens down this column to start with. So, first of all, if this is a 1, then the sequence is going 1, 6, 2 down here. Switch off the email alerts, Mark. So these digits would be 2, 3, 4. We'd have 2, 3, 4, 6. One there. These would be locked out. That's fine. 2, 3, 4, 6, 1. These would be locked out of 2, 6 as well. Oh, maybe it's the other way around that would be a problem. Let's try it with 9 here. And then this, looking at the sequence, these circles would go 9, 4, 8. That would be 8, 7, 6. 8 and 4. The locked out digits would be from 1, 2, 3, 9. And the digits between 1 and 6, these would be between digits. They would include digits from 2, 3, 4, 5. There'd be a 9 here. Hang on. What am I saying? I was going 9, 4, 8. And these would be from 1, 2, 3, 9. Oh, this would be between 4 and 9. I don't know, maybe it's not that. I think I am going to use placeholders. So I'm going to try this as a 1 and see if we're going to need to change it. Okay, I'm going to remove the aide memoire on the basis that well, I shouldn't do that. I should just memorize it. It goes 159, 483, 726. So if we're going from in the clockwise direction, that goes 159, 483, 726. Now, I am absolutely prepared. What I'm doing is basically solving this without writing 1, 9 as candidates there and there. Let me just get rid of these candidates because they're just annoying now. And this would be 6 or 4. That would be 6 or 4. These would be 2, 8 pairs. That would be a 3, 7 pair. Oh, that's interesting. That is always a 3, 7 pair in whatever version. Okay, I'm going to change back. Let's do it with the pairs. So that is a 4, 6 pair. This is a 3, 7 pair. That's a 2, 8 pair because the sequence demands it. I'm just going to get rid of these again because they're just annoying me. Right, this pair is between 3 and 7 and it's not 5. So that's a 4, 6 pair, definitely. These are either between 3 and 8 or 7 and 2. So they're either from 3, 4, 5, 6 or 4, 5, 6, 7. This one sees a 4, 6 pair. Do any of the others see a 4, 6 pair? No. This one sees a 2, 8 pair. That's much less interesting. Oh, I'm changing my mind again. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm going back to placeholders. It's very difficult to decide sometimes, as you can see. But I think this is going to help me solve it. And that's really the key. 2, 6. Right. Now I could fill in 3 and 4 there, because that's what these white dots do. That's a 6. That's a 4. This pair involves an 8. Now, these are locked out. These ones are locked in. These are between. So they're from 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this version, this is definitely easier to get a handle on. That's not a 7. This pair is a between pair. I find it much... Oh, there's a 6 on that white dot. There's always one odd and one even number on a white dot. Now, what is... These are from 4, 5, 6, 7 here. That's a little bit harder to get a handle on, isn't it? So strange. 4, 5, or 7. That can't actually be a 7, because that can't be 8 or 6. That's really strange. Does that... It doesn't even mean there has to be a 5 there. Oh, goodness. Okay. These are locked out of the 2, 7. So they're from 1, 8, 9. These are locked out of the 2, 6. I'm not marking that up. I'm going to look at these, which are locked out from the 4, 9 line. So they're 1, 2, or 3. These ones are from 6, 7, 8 and include a 7. These ones are from 2, 3, 4 and include a 3. I haven't narrowed down this digit in any way at all. These are from 2, 3, 4, 5. That one can't be a 4. I don't know, this didn't get a lot easier, did it? Even with some idea, oh, 6 is looking at that cell. Ah, well, hang on a moment. 5 there, 3 there, not 3 here. Therefore 3 here, because one of these is odd. Now not 3 there. That 3 is now looking at this cell, which is a 5. Thank goodness I chose to do this on the placeholder method. I think I'd be really struggling for any traction otherwise. 5 is looking at that cell, which is a 7. Now, I must be able to get some Sudoku done. Yeah, no, there's a 6 in one of those 2 cells, but the line doesn't tell me which way it goes. There's a 4 in one of those 2. There's a 7 in one of those 2. That feels potential. There's also a 3. 3 can't be there because it's locked out by the 2 and 6. So 3 is definitely here in this box. That is Sudoku and quite useful. Now, no, 3 would be okay there, but this isn't a 3. 3 is now not on this black dot, and nor is 1. You see, I don't want to fill in the black dot with candidates because I'm using the placeholder method. And what I have to do is either prove it's impossible to have that black dot there, or if I'm on the right track, then I'm going to have to at some point fill it in. If I can't prove it's impossible, then it's going to be right. I'm a bit worried I've left myself in a position of not being able to prove this Sudoku has only one solution. But let's carry on and see what happens. We've got a 3 in one of those cells. We've got a 5 in one of those 2. Okay, I'm going to pencil mark the 4 there. There's a 6 in one of those. Now, in this column, what are these? These are locked out from 3 and 8, but they're consecutive. That's actually more helpful than most things around the grid. That's a 1-2 pair. This digit now sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so it's 8 or 9. These are locked out from 2, 6. These are locked out from 5, 9. These are locked out from 1, 5. They seem less helpful. Why can't I use that? Okay, maybe this row because of this white dot. If there was not a 5, if there is a 5 on this white dot, this is a 4, 5, 6 triple. And everything else in the row is 1, 7, 9. But if there is not a 5 on this dot, there is a 7 on it. And that's 7, 6, and that's a 4. Oh, there's a 5 X-wing in these columns. 5 has to be at the top or bottom of those 2 columns. That's going to use up the 2 5s for those columns, but also the 2 5s for row 1 and 9. Hang on, that 5 sees that cell, so that's a 6. That makes this a 4, and this is not a 4. There might be Sudoku to do before thinking about the impact of those 5s. There might not be any more. 4 and 4. Wow, 4 would be forced into one of those cells. Now, in the alternate version of the puzzle, 6 would be the digit represented by our 4. Oh, look, 4, 4. I can place 4 in this box. Okay, I didn't realize I could do that. Then there's a 4 in one of those 2. 4 can definitely be on the line locked out by 5 and 9. Oh, good Lord. These are from 1, 2, 3, 9. That's so unhelpful. 5, 4, 3, 6 down here. This is where the most digits are turning up because of this squiggly line and the fact that we've filled it in. Oh, the disjoint subset. I really had forgotten that entirely. The disjoint subset rule. So how are we doing on 4s? Goodness me, this is going to matter a lot. We've had 4 in the bottom right and the bottom middle. We need a 4 in the bottom left in the top set of 3 boxes. Oh, I'd forgotten this entirely. I'd only used it for the center of the circles. But the trouble is, have I got enough information to actually use it yet for anything? There's a 6 in one of those 2 cells. That could be on the line. Okay, I may have remembered that at a good point when it's just going to suddenly start mattering, but I can't see how it matters yet. 3s, we've got 5 of them in the grid. There's going to be a 6th up there. It doesn't determine which of these is a 3. Oh, 3 in the bottom row, there's only one place. That's going to determine the 5 X-wing that I was looking at. Right, we can't have a 3 there, so that's a 1-2 pair. These are between 4 and 9. Now, what have we got at the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything else is 6, 7, 8, 9 in the bottom row. Can we use the disjoint subset anywhere? I mean, it means that those 2 are different digits. Oh, we've had a 7 in position 8, so that can't be a 7. This is 7, 8, or 9 by the rule, by the column, that is. Now, this hasn't been proved wrong yet, this black dot, but 1 and 3 can't be on it. If it was right, there's definitely a 4 on it, and either 2 or 8, but we can't use that yet, I don't think. So, 4s, we've got 5 of them. I don't know, nothing much on the left yet. Well, one of the position 2s is going to have to be a 4. It's going to have to be in one of those 2 cells. It is very difficult to use this rule, the disjoint subset rule. It really is. Oh, I haven't really looked at this line. These 2 are locked out by 3 and 7, so they're from 1, 2, 8, 9. Oh, come on, let's pencil mark them and these, which are from 1, 7, 8, 9, and these, which are from 1, 2, 3, 9. We might get some sort of dissonance going in the rows. That can't be a 7. So if that was from 1, 8, 9, that would be a triple. And we'd have 2 and 3 to put in here. I don't know how that works. I don't think it does work. Oh, this can't be a 3 because we've got a 3 in the box. Should I be using the disjoint subset as well now? It's so difficult to know how to get on. Okay, let's look at these positions. Position 4. Right, in the bottom, in row 8, they're from 1, 5, 7, and 9. So 2, 3 already appears in these positions. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 is in the top row in one of those 2. 6 is also in the top row. So one of those 2 is a 6, or its placeholder counterpart, 4. Eight, though, could be here or here or here. It's not quite that helpful yet, unless maybe I'm meant to just spot one particular cell. Oh, let's pencil mark these lockout lines. These are from 6, 7, 8, 9. That's locked out. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we have already got a 1, 2 down here in this column. It's not quite helping enough, is it? Well, it's not helping me enough. Maybe you can see something going on. One of these two is a 6. That's just unexciting information. Unless there's already a 6 in one of those positions somewhere. Okay, I could pencil mark these. That is 6, 7, or 8. This is 5, 6, or 8. And that's all my lines fully pencil marked, and much good may it do me. There is a 5 in one of those two cells. But there's no lockout lines. No, disjoint subset is the thing. Right, 5 is there. The 5 up here is in one of those 3. And it can't be in the top. Oh, 5 is a good digit. 5 can never be on the black dot in either placeholder version, because 5 represents the digit 5 through the mirror. So this is the 5 in box 1. Well, that's information. That's something a bit new. The remaining 5s in the puzzle are in these possible cells. What does the disjoint subset tell me about those? Absolutely nothing. No, it really doesn't. Oh, 1 and 3, they're both odd. So both cells are, but of course in the disjoint in the placeholder alternative version, that's a 7. So then 3 could be on this line, and that's important. 3 could be on this dot, is what I mean. I was about to label both of these as even, and I cannot do that. Can't risk it. Oh, one of those is 8 on the dot, so that's not an 8. Goodness me, this is getting tougher and tougher by the moment. I feel like I'm getting drawn into a spider's web of confusion here. Digits remaining in column 5. I mean, I could have done this years ago. Are 1, 2, 8, and 9. How does that help? Well, does it help? There we've got a 1 or a 2 in position 2. Where's the other 1 or 2 in position 2? Let's just look at the position 2s. Oh, well, the other 1 or 2 is in one of these cells, not both. Because there's 1 there, therefore one of these is a 1 or a 2. Since it's not in both, the other one of those is an 8 or a 9, and that makes a pair with that, and this digit can't be 8 or 9. And now we've got both 1, 2s in these positions in the bottom rows. And what about these positions? 1, 2, 3, 7, 6, 4, 5, and that 8, 9 pair. That seems incredibly unhelpful, except it would allow me to start colouring the 8s and 9s briefly. I don't know if that would be any help. I just can't tell. I mean, I could colour those digits against each other. Maybe, oh no, I could obviously colour those 1, 2s against each other. Let's colour the 1, 2s against each other. Red versus yellow, and that's red. Now, where's red in this box? It's not in those cells. So it's in one of these 3. Oh, one of these is the yellow 1, 2 in position 2. That's quite interesting as well. It doesn't quite do anything, but it feels more interesting than some things I've found in the puzzle. This is pretty tough, isn't it? Disjoint subset. I'm sure that's doing more than I can see. Oh, goodness. We've had 5s. We've got quite a lot of 5s in the grid. 6 of them. Oh, yes, then I started highlighting the other cells where 5s could go in, and it didn't reveal anything. So I did that already. One of these two is a 7. Position 2 or 3. How are we doing for 7s? In this row, 7 is definitely in position 1 in one of those two cells. That's quite interesting. That means 7 can't occupy this cell or this one, which is relevant because in the placeholder version that would be a 3. Now, this cell is definitely even. We know that from this row. It doesn't matter which way around the placeholders go. If that can't be a 7 or a 3, then it can never, this black dot can never have an odd digit, because it would have to have either the 7 representing 3 or the 3 itself. So that is even as well. And there's no 1 on it. No, but this is in the version where I started with a 1 there. That's no good. Oh, I'm getting myself badly confused now. I mean, this is the trouble with placeholdering, is you can end up in a bit of a schmozzle as you try and work out what you have learnt and what you haven't. Oh, 4. This has just been available since I put that 5 in. The 4 in my version is up here in one of those cells. Now we've just learnt that that cannot represent a 6 because we can't put a 7 up there. Right, what do I mean by that? I mean that I chose 1 here and 9 here. If I'd gone the other way around, we'd be deducting every digit in the grid from 10 and we'd have the right fill if the other way around was right. And what would happen then is this would be a 9 and that would be a 7. The digits we'd have up here would be a 6 and there'd have to be a 3. But we can't have a 3 there because all the odd digits have gone in those cells and on the white dots in row 2. And we can't have a 3 there because in that version of the puzzle, in row 7, what we're now seeing as a 7 would have to be in one of those position 1s, and in the other version of the puzzle it would be a 3, and that therefore couldn't go there. So we've chosen the right version of the puzzle where we don't put 6 up here because 3 can't go there. So I'm not going to be reversing. These digits that I've now got in are correct. We're on the right track. And those two are either 2, 4 or 4, 8. I don't know which it is, but they're one or the other. The 4, do I know which cell that goes in by disjoint? No, I don't think I know. It's tricky. I don't know. If that was a 4, then we get a 4 here and a 4 here. And then by disjoint, we're going to get a 4 here. In fact, that is just Sudoku at that point. If that's a 4, this is a 2. What does that do? Oh, it becomes yellow, doesn't it? Oh, that's quite interesting. This digit seems to be exactly the same as that one. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is, if this is a 4, that's a 2. And then it's yellow because it's not red. And then the last yellow digit in the top row, in the top 3 rows, has to go there. So that would be the same as that. If, on the other hand, this is not a 4, then that's a 4. And then the only place for 4 in row 2 is there. So these two are always the same. Okay, I'm getting rid of the blue colours because I don't think they're actually helping. Actually, this is 2, 6 or 8. I know it's even, so I'm putting that in. Those two are the same. But what is that? What grace is that giving me in the world? Can I say they're not 2s for some reason? They would be yellow 2. What other 2s do we have? Not many. Not many 2s have found their way into... Ah, no, I couldn't even tell between those two from the disjoint subset rule. Oh, the disjoint subset. I knew at the start it would be a monster to me, and it is. It is being exactly that. Oh, we're so nearly there. At least we know we've got the right orientation of the pattern through the central cells. That's absolutely key. Well, I feel it's key, but I don't know quite why. Right, if this didn't have a 2, 2 would be there. Then 2 couldn't be here because of disjoint subset. So if this was a 4-8 pair, 2 would be there, this would be 4, it would be 4 on top of 8. If it's a 4-8 pair, that's the 8. This can't be 8 in the corner. If it's a 2-4 pair, I think things are a little harder to determine because we don't get 8 proved anywhere down here particularly. If it's a 4-8 pair, that's 9, 7, 6. I mean, lots of things get filled in. That becomes 2. No, that can't be a 2. Where's 2 in this box? We've got a 1-2 pair looking at that cell. 2 has to be up here with the 4, doesn't it? That is a 2-4 pair. That's also a 2-4 pair. This digit is not 2 now. That is a 6, 7, 8 triple. I mean, oh, so's that. So this digit is the same as that one. And that appears somewhere up there. 6, 7, 8, 5, 9. Where's red 1 or 2? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Well, at least we know it's a 2-4 pair. 6 in the column has to be there at the bottom. That's the only place it can be. That's feels like a discovery to me. Probably isn't, but anyway, 6 is now in one of those 2 cells. Oh, I've marked 6. Yes, this can't be 6. 6, we've got a 6 down there. So we have now got an X-wing of 6s. And 6 in row 2 must be in one of those 2. But we've got a disjoint rule, so that has to be an 8. Excellent. We had a 6 in position 6 already. So that's a 7. We're going to get this done now, I think. 6 there, 7. I mean, I could be going very early on that ridiculous prediction, but let's see what happens. I just think disjoint subset might suddenly become our friend if we can get enough of the items. We've got 7 in those cells. We've got 7 in one of these 2. Hang on, we need a 6 in this box, and that's definitely here. Is that, we're nearly done on all the 6s. We've got 7 of them. Yeah, and we've had 6 in that position, so that's not a 6. There we go. So these are the last 2 6s. Do the 6s look like they're in positions 1, 4, 9, 3, 5, 8, 2, 6, 7? Yes. The 6s are golden. 6, 5, 7 there. Is that any good? No. Okay, but at least the 6s are done. It's something. We've got a 7 in one of those cells and a 7 in one of these. That's an X-wing. And it stops 7 being here. And the 7 in the bottom row becomes here. And there's a 7 in one of those 2 cells and one of those 2. Okay, the disjoint is not going to resolve that stuff. Fair enough. 2, 4, 5, 3, 6. This can't be 7. This is 1, 8 or 9 by elimination by Sudoku. Again, maybe the disjoint does something, but I can't see it. 8. Is it one of those 3? It hasn't been ruled out of any of them. Can I use this 1, 2 pair, which I wasn't using enough before? This has to be 3 or 4 by Sudoku. Does disjoint decide which one? The answer is definitely no. Oh, red can't be in those cells, so red's in one of those 2. And it's in one of those 2 because it's 1 or 2. Can that be yellow? Yes, it could. Yes, it annoyingly could. Okay, come on. These are a red-yellow pair, aren't they? Is that of any use? No, it can't be. It can't do anything. Okay, I thought we were going along nicely, but now we've ground to a halt again. Well, I have. I'm sure you're doing fine in your head. Now, 6 there and 3 here. We need a 7 in one of those 2, a 4 in one of those. I mean, it is gradually becoming, but my goodness, it's pulling teeth at this stage, isn't it? 2, 4, 3, 6, 8 in row 8. That digit is 1 or 9. That's all it can be. 6, 3 in the column. What does that do? It says that 2 and 4 are in this group of cells. This can't be a 2 because it sees a 1, 2 pair. Okay, so either that's a 2 or that's a 2 in this column. And if that's a 2, that's not allowed to be a 2. And that would be a 2. Okay, I don't think that did anything. That was just something that felt like it was useful and it didn't actually yield anything. 6, 5, 7 up here. 6, 9, 8, 5, 7 up. This is not a 4. 1, 2 or 3 in the corner. Is there anything ruled out? Let's have a look at this position on the disjoint because I just haven't looked at position 3 at all. We've had a 6. We've finished with 6s. We do need a 5 in this position, and the only box where we can now do that is here. Well, that's quite exciting. I don't quite know how it's arrived, but it seems to be true. And then that must be the last 5 in the grid, and 5s are all done now. No, we need to put one in here to finish them off. But that did work. That was fine. Okay, that's not a 7, so the 7 in row 8 is there. Now, this isn't a 7 as well. This is the 7 in box 9, because it can't go anywhere else. How are we doing on 7s? We need 2 more, but they're in a little X-wing of disjoint positions. Doesn't really help yet. Wow. Why do I find this so difficult? Yellow. If that was yellow, that would have to be yellow. But if that was red, that would be red. I don't know what that means. 7, 8, 9, triple. The 7's in the top row. We know that. Oh, in this row, these are from, one of them is 3 or 4. Ah, the other is 8 or 9. I don't know quite. I think it means this must be 8 or 9. Yeah, it does. There is an 8 or 9 here, but only one of them. In fact, the simpler question is, where does that digit go in box 2? It goes there. So that is 8 or 9. Now in this column, we've got an 8-9 pair, and that's a 1 or a 2, and it's yellow. And that's that would be an annoying, deadly pattern if they weren't in different boxes. Why I say annoying is because it doesn't really help with anything else. Maybe it helps because 1 and 2 have now gone in this row, and everything else is from 4, 7, 8, 9. That one can't be 4. That one can't be 4. This is the only place for 4 in the row now. That's actually since we got that 5, but I hadn't noticed it. Right, that makes green a 2. And that's huge, because now green becomes yellow. And, well, it's huge in separating 2s and 1s. I know that's not the whole puzzle. We get a 4 there, and that's a 1, and I'm going to make that yellow as well, because it's a 2. Right. Now, there's a 2 in one of those 2 positions. This is not a 2. That's not a 2 or a 1. That's a 3 or a 4. And is the same as that. That's not a 2. This is 1, 8 or 9. Which of these can be a 2? Is there a disjoint thing going on? Yes. That one can't be a 2 by the disjoint rule. So that's the 2 in row 5. Oh, I could have just done that by Sudoku. Oh, it's just painful when these things crop up. Right. There's a 2 in one of those 2 cells, and in one of those 2 cells, and in one of those 2. That's a 1, 2, 8, 9 quad. So this is a 3, 4 pair at the top. And that is 8 or 9. Ah, Lordy, I still have not done this. It's going to be all about the disjoints. Oh, good grief. I've got 1 8 in a disjoint position. That means that can't be an 8. Like, it's going to be picking off these individual little bits of items, isn't it? I've got no 9s out of the central circle. Okay, 2s. Well, I'm colouring them. Surely that helps a bit. Do you know, it must do. One of these must be resolved, surely. Those 3 positions are positions 3, 7 and 9. Whereas these, they're also positions 3, 7 and 9. Isn't that annoying? So they're not resolved. Wow. Okay, that can't be a 1. So in this box, the 1's in one of those cells, and this is not a 1. Now the only place for 1 in the box is here. That's going to keep 1 out of position 3 up here, which also can't be a 2 now. So that is a 3 in the corner, and that's really proving its position. Splendid. Right. That gives us 4 and 1 in that box, and this is going to do the job. Well, I said that before, and I was totally wrong. Let's see if I'm right. That 1 is looking all the way down to a 2 here, and that's what we needed to find the last few 2s. There they are. Right, now let's discolour those. Fully colour the white. There, the yellow 2s. That is a red 1. Now, are 1s forbidden from... Oh, we've got a 1 there. That's huge. Okay, so this is 9, that's 8. This is 9, that's 8. Now I can do 9 and 1. And I'm finding lots of lovely 1s in the puzzle. That's going to be another 1, and that's going to be the last one. There we go. This is a 9. That's an 8, that's a 9. It does look like it's coming now, but this has been a struggle, hasn't it? What an entertaining, intriguing, and frustrating puzzle for me. I mean, I was nervous of it for all the right reasons, because it was going to be a beast, and it has been. 7, and I think 8 there finishes it. Wow. Well done, Murdoch. That is tough stuff. 50 minutes, and every deduction quite hard won. I'm sure you can point out, oh, can Mark not see the disjoint from the 6 in box 6 or something for ages? But looking for those actually slightly handicaps your ability to see the normal Sudoku as well. So I've got an excuse for everything. And it's a hard puzzle. But thank you for watching. Absolute pleasure to have you with us. Hope to see you again tomorrow on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.